charge of not just the standards and the curriculum, but they have the contract to write the NAEP test. So one NGO, nobody got a chance to bid for this contract, has the contract for the standards, the curriculum, and the assessment. And they will tell you, oh, by the way, CCE was a NGO started by this man, Chuck Quigley, out of Berkeley, California. He's still in charge of it. This was founded in 1968, a radical leftist group that wants to take control, along with the UN. On their website, you can go and find out what teaching democracy globally, internationally, and comparatively for the 21st century mission of schools really is. They state, in the past century, the civic mission of schools was education for democracy in a sovereign state. Old news, folks. In this century, by contrast, education will everywhere become more global and international, and we ought to improve our curricular frameworks and standards for a world transformed by globally accepted and internationally transcendent principles. Those things which, according to these radicals, believe is central and common to all such nations. Lowest common denominator, by the way. If you want to read more about the federal curriculum, Alan Quist's book, Fed Ed, is a must-read. But let's start with the curriculum. It opens by telling you the primary purpose of this textbook is not to fill your head with a lot of facts about American history and government. Well, at least they admit it. They go on to tell you in their final chapter, always read the final chapter, it tells you where they're taking the kids. This lesson looks to the future. You focus on some major developments taking place in our society that are likely to affect the very nature of citizenship during your lifetime. When you complete this lesson, you should be able to explain how our nation's greater interdependence with the rest of the world is changing the pattern of civic loyalties. This is the real meaning of civics education and why it is endorsed by No Child Left Behind. Textbook goes on to tell you that we will be studying about the global village, and it ends by asking the question, what advantages might be offered by world citizenship? What disadvantages? Do you think that world citizenship will be possible in your lifetime? Folks, if you read this book, the answer is, oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. That's what our kids are learning now. This is a calendar in Minnesota, Apple Valley School District, that tells us that learning for a lifetime means our graduates will be global citizens who see themselves as part of an international community. This is the movement in education, and global citizenship is one and the same with sustainable development. What they do is they declare the Bill of Rights old-fashioned. The fundamental and lasting as its guarantees have been, past tense, the U.S. Bill of Rights is a document of the 18th century reflecting the issues and concerns of the age in which it was written. They go on to explain then that they are considered negative rights because they prevent the government from acting, which is true. But they go on to teach that it is doubtful that the founders had in mind an uncritical acceptance of the wisdom of the past. And it is within the sovereign authority of the American people to revise or abolish entirely the Bill of Rights. Now that I told to a very conservative U.S. congressman who said, well, you know, that's true. And I said, not if you believe that these are unalienable God-given rights. Only if you believe that they are given by man. And he was like, you know, you're right. I never thought of that. This was a U.S. very conservative congressman. What did they promote? The positive rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Why? Because instead of preventing the government from acting, they require it to act to ensure such things as economic security, health care, and a clean environment for its citizens. Isn't that wonderful? Well, see, folks, this is exactly what we're teaching and assessing our children, to ensure that they now believe it's government's responsibility to give us security, health care for all, and a clean environment. Government becomes God. Did you know, by the way, the Declaration of Human Rights declares a new God? Where do rights come from under the Universal Declaration? Article 29.3 says, these rights and freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations. It enumerates your rights, and then it takes them away. Government becomes God. Now, what is the duty of all followers of God? Follow God. What is the duty of citizenship? It means to serve your benevolent master. Citizenship now in the national curriculum is defined as the status of being a member of a state, one who owes allegiance to the government. One who owes allegiance not to the principles upon which freedom is based, that we may judge government, but government. This was exactly the defense of the Nazis at the Nuremberg trials. Exactly. The only way they were convicted is even then the international court, represented by U.S., appealed to a higher law than government. This is the true meaning of the rule of law. Law is king, not king is law. It's Lex Rex, Samuel Rutherford, his principles. Civic virtue, isn't that something we want to teach our children? You're wary now. Not under the new definition. The dedications of citizens to the common good, even at the cost of their individual interests or rights. This is a Maple Grove 7th grade test. The term sovereignty refers to the absolute authority a government has over its citizens. This is a correct answer. Are they talking about the U.S. here? Neither the United States nor Russia are sovereign states. The right answer is false, because our government has absolute authority over the citizens. How in the world can they believe that to be true? Take away a people's heritage, and they're easily persuaded. That's how. The Declaration Principles versus Sustainable Development. National sovereignty is replaced by world citizenship. Natural law is replaced by positive law. Constructivism replaces self-evident truth. All people are equal before God is now replaced by multiculturalism. That is not celebrating different cultures who are here. That is declaring everyone different by their culture, and all ideas are now equal. Equal opportunity was under one. Equal outcome is now the rule of the day. Creator-given unalienable rights is now government-defined rights. Purpose of government was to secure rights. Now the purpose of government is to distribute fairness. Popular sovereignty has been replaced with absolute power. Folks, I rewrote the Declaration of Independence years ago based on what I was learning in the curriculum. It is now we hold these concepts to be self-actualized, that all genders have evolved the same, and that based on their human nature, they are now entitled to certain basic rights, that among these are choice, license, and the pursuit of fairness. This principle is all over Maine's curriculum. I'm not going to go there because I don't have enough time. There are other principles involved, including emotional indoctrination. We have now declared that we are under the United Nations full-fledged members to support the goals. What we are doing is creating a synthesis of East and West under a new civilization, which is declared a new civilization is emerging in our lives, and blind men everywhere, that's you and I, are trying to suppress it. The book ends, from the wisdom we thank Mr. Jefferson, who helped create the system that served us for so well for so long, and that now must in its turn die and be replaced. The foreword to this book was written by Newt Gingrich. Folks, what is that system Jefferson gave us? The least religious of our founding fathers told us God, who gave us life, gave us liberty. And can the liberties of a nation be thought secure when we have removed their only firm basis from the minds of the people, that these liberties are the gift of God, that they are not to be violated but with his wrath? Indeed, I tremble for my country when I realize God is just, and his justice cannot sleep forever. George Washington also warned us in his farewell address, whatever measures contribute to violate or lessen the sovereign authority ought to be considered as hostile to the liberty and independence of America, and the authors of them treated accordingly. Folks, this is treason. Yes. And it's time we say so. Yes. Thank you very much.